Harry Rock, and welcome to another edition of the Westfield Council on Aging Presents. This is a special collaborative show between Tina Gorman, Executive Director of the Westfield Senior Center, and Pete Coles, the Senior Producer of WCPC Westfield Cable Channel 15. Our topic today is Thrive, Money Management During Tough Times. And my guest is Jen Fernandez, who is the Senior Financial Coach of Thrive with the United Way of Pioneer Valley. So Jen, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us.
Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was about a year ago that we did the show, and Tina felt that given the change in the financial climate out there and the difficulty of just having enough money to pay all the bills, and we're going to talk a little bit about the impact that inflation has had on people, but she felt it was probably a worthwhile program to rerun again. So with that in mind, again, just welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I thought that the first thing we ought to explore is just the word Thrive. What is Thrive? What's the name mean? And is it an acronym for something else? And where does it come from?
So Thrive, the name itself, actually, when we have a presentation, the first slide is some money growing out of a soil. And we think of Thrive as thinking about your finances. They don't just, money doesn't grow on trees. And we think of it when we see money coming out of the ground that we have to start somewhere. And everybody has to, build a foundation. They have to build their finances. It has to grow. It takes patience. It takes time. But when people come to Thrive, their finances truly do grow. And we've seen a lot of really good success stories. Thrive is so it's not really an acronym, but it just kind of thrive. You kind of grow and you become more confident, and you grow as a person when your financial world becomes better.
Okay.
When you start to get in there and learn about your finances, start to take the reins on your finances, you start to take control of your money, you become educated about your money. You work with a Thrive coach, and you just feel so much better. And you also, become more confident, and you feel better as a person. Because if you think about it, your finances, you can't escape that. They're never going to go away.
Right.
So with Thrive with the United Way is our financial literacy program. It's a one-stop financial success center. So the key thing to remember here is that it's free and it's open to anybody in the community. So the overall goal of Thrive is to really help people work towards a better financial well-being. So to work towards the financial goals that they set when they come in and do the intake with Thrive. To, like I said, feel more confident. And, when that happens, it's a huge success. The specific things that we do with Thrive would be very thorough budgeting and money management. We're very detailed with that. I'm and I also have a coworker, Manny, and we're very detailed coaches, very thorough, making sure we're educating our clients. So we do very thorough budgeting and money management. We do debt reduction. We do savings, banking. We do understanding your credit score and increasing your credit score, understanding your credit report. We do referrals to resources in the community, resources to workforce training opportunities like at Holyoke Community College, referrals over to Mass Hire for help with searching for employment, resumes, cover letters. We do free tax preparation during the tax season with our VITA program, which volunteers that are certified to do taxes. So that's huge. And there's a lot of, Harry, there's a lot of things that come in between all these concrete things that I talked about. There's a lot of specific things going on to each person, something with a student loan so we also work with other financial pieces that might be going on that's unique to each individual.
That's really interesting. I was thinking about this last night when I was kind of starting to prep for it. Is Thrive a United Way designed or United Way created program, or is that an existing program that just operates under the United Way banner?
So it's interesting because my supervisor, well, I have a new supervisor now, but she got the model from out in California, and they were doing this type of model like Thrive. And so that it's actually, she brought that in over into the United Way.
So
And
it's a
she's the one
it's a standalone program then that the United Way has picked up and is now funding as a
yes, yes.
service to the community.
Yep, yep. So United Way does so many great things for the community. We do so many things. And one of them is the Thrive program. And we got the model that she noticed out in California
Wow.
and took it over into us. And it's hard to find something like this out here that's free and open to anybody in the community. It's an amazing program.
Are, so not every United Way offers this then. It's just specific
Right.
United Ways or this might be the only United Way in the
Yeah,
United
this is
States.
like, as far as I know, I mean, at least in Massachusetts, this is the only United Way that I know that does the Thrive program.
That's really cool. Is your
Yeah.
office in the United Way
Yep.
building?
So pre-COVID, I used to not even be in the main office. I used to be in Holyoke 3 days a week and Westfield 2 days a week. But then COVID hit, work from home, the whole thing. And when I came back, I was stationed just in Springfield. So 3 days a week, I'm in Springfield, which is on 1441 Maple Street, thinking of Holyoke, 1441 Main Street in the TD Bank building. And then 1 day a week in Holyoke, which is going to go up to 2 days starting next week. And then 2 Fridays a month, I'm in Westfield. So, we're totally, Harry, I think that one of the things people should know about Thrive is what makes Thrive so unique. So if someone said, well, okay, what is so unique about Thrive is really our coaching model.
Mm.
And it's one-on-one confidential. So pre-COVID, it's always in person. Obviously, during the pandemic, that had to go away. And we did it by phone, which still went really well. But now we're back in person. And to have someone that helps you, we're just not coaches, we're also motivators, and we help hold people accountable. And we're the hand holders because it's a really overwhelming journey. So we'll go to the bank with people. We'll call collection agencies or creditors to help, on the phone so people don't feel so overwhelmed. I've gone to utility companies with clients. So that's hard to find for free in the community.
Mm.
And that's what makes Thrive so unique. I mean, that, you know what I mean? That's pretty cool that, you have a one-on-one with a financial coach that's really going to hold your hand through your financial journey and really help you every step of the way.
So let's talk a little bit about that. How often do they come in?
Mm-hmm.
How long is a session? And then how long do you keep them over a span of time?
So usually people come to me monthly, sometimes more. So nothing's set in stone. It doesn't have to be monthly, but most people come monthly. The key thing though, Harry, is that, it needs to be consistency. Because if you want to increase that score, you want to increase your savings, get that house, get that condo, whatever it may be, it's really, I'll put in 110%, but the client needs to put in their share too. So they usually come monthly. Sometimes if need be, we'll do more than once a month. When they come to me, the time frame totally depends. If we're doing an intake the first time around, that takes some time. It could be an hour and a half. It can be, we're setting goals, we're doing intake paperwork, a regular appointment. Totally depends because I go in the pace of the client. I mean, sometimes they're an hour, hour and a half, like the most.
Okay.
Because there's so much involved. It's not just like I'm doing numbers with them, like their budget sheet, their debt, their income, their savings plan, and then I just say, okay, see you the next time. Again, we're really thorough in taking the time to really discuss things as we're going through their appointment, educating them, making sure that they're understanding. It's a team approach. It's It's for them.
And then how long will they stay with you?
So I've had clients like for a really long time. I've had clients since like 2018. I started in
Oh,
17.
wow.
I've
So,
had clients since 2019
so
that,
multiple years.
oh yeah, yeah. And we're always getting new clients too. I mean, Thrive is definitely out there, and organizations and agencies here, totally know about us. They love Thrive. But yeah, I've had clients for a very long time because even if they're meeting their goals, they still want to stick with Thrive. They still want to have someone to hold them accountable.
So
You know,
how does a person find out about you? A lot of people get into financial difficulty, but how do they even know that Thrive exists? Because people aren't going, well, I think I'm in financial difficulty. I'll go on the United Way website and see what they
right?
offer. I don't think that's
You can go
happening.
on. You can go on the United Way website. We also market, the program. But I think it might be a good idea. So, or organizations will find out about us because we'll do tabling events. We do marketing through our social media. Um, Sometimes people will come into our service center, which I could talk a little bit about later, and people will set up tables there. Or I'll go to tabling events, and then people find out about Thrive. And a lot of it is actually networking. So I have clients that tell other clients, or I'll go on Holyoke neighborhood safe neighborhood initiative with Ed Case. The second Thursday of every month, and there's tons of organizations on there. So there's so many people, different ways that people hear about Thrive. um, it's amazing. And then or people will just network and say, hey, my friend, comes to Thrive, or an organization will say, hey, someone from another organization told me, can I come and make an appointment with you? But I definitely will share my phone number in email as well.
And what motivates a person to make that step? A lot of people will get into financial trouble and they just keep mounting debt. What motivates them finally to do something, to come and find you or a program like yours?
Yep. I think once they hear about Thrive and they hear what it's about, I have so many people that are so relieved when they come in. And I think people just get to a point where they realize, like, I can't do this by myself. I'm stuck. I know what I want to do, but I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. So people really finally get to a point where they're like, okay, like, I need help. I need help with my debt. I need help budgeting and money, whatever the case may be. They just get to a point where it's just too overwhelming for them to do it on their own. And they find out about Thrive and they're like, wow, like, this is a free program and I can actually work with somebody to help me, and to have someone, working with you individually is huge. And we take everything in baby steps. We don't want to overwhelm clients because finances are already overwhelming. So we take baby steps to work on those goals. And when yeah, so I think they just realize, like, God, I need to increase my score. I'm never going to get my own house, or I have so much debt, I don't know where to begin. And finally, and then when they come in, it's easy. I mean, all my clients that have come in have really, they're thrilled. They're so glad they came.
How many clients do you have, or how many people do you serve in total with you and your other colleagues?
Um, so for example, last month was probably about 40, 50 clients
Oh, wow. That's
for
a lot of
myself.
people. Just for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So my other coworker has now taken over more of the service center in our at the United Way, and is doing a little bit, somewhat of Thrive, but not nearly as much. So I'm pretty much the primary person that does the Thrive program.
That's a lot of people to keep track of.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is, but it's a good thing. It's rewarding to see people start to make progress, even if it's just little steps.
Right, right.
It's rewarding that you're part of that journey with them.
I was curious. I was thinking about this a little bit about the demographics. Do you see like an even mix of men to women? Is it more women, more men?
I would say maybe about maybe a little bit more women, but I also have men that come to me too.
Mm,
Um, so as far as demographics, we have it's diverse. It's a diverse
oh,
population.
that's good to hear.
Yeah, it is. So we have, all different, backgrounds. Whether it's, diverse as far as race, as far as like
Mm,
socioeconomic.
okay.
We which is nice. We have a very diverse population, and I should include age too. So
Yeah, I
we've
was
worked,
wondering about that.
yeah. So we've worked with youth, starting at like I don't know. I presented, was it in the summer, um, to a whole bunch of youth starting at like 14,
Wow.
and I think one of my oldest clients was like 70 or older.
Wow.
So it just goes to show that everybody needs financial help, and it's okay.
Mm.
So I've done all age ranges, different, racial backgrounds, socioeconomic, you name it, and it's great. It's That's why it's open to everybody in the community.
I mean, do you see it more? Is it middle class, lower middle class, and then people that are getting closer to the poverty range? Or I mean, I don't guess you have anybody that's well-to-do or very, very comfortable that comes to you. Is that,
Right.
or is that incorrect?
Well, you're right. Most of the people that come to me are low to moderate income.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So most of the people that come to me are working and or just on benefits.
Mm,
So some people have both, working with the benefits, and some people are just benefits.
mm.
And most have a tighter income. Yep. And so, it's you got to work with the clients. We always talk about living within your means, and you have to just work your best with a client within their means. Some
So, how easy is it to get into financial distress?
Oh, it's easy. I shouldn't say it like that, but it's not hard. I mean, because you know, for a lot of people, I should say, you're swiping your card, get your here's cash.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're dining out on a limited income is through the roof.
Right.
That's why we do very thorough budgeting and money management. What do you know what your expenses are every month? Do you truly know your expenses besides the fixed ones? What are your variable expenses? Dining
Mm,
out, entertainment, those play a big part. Some people just get into credit card debt. It's easy to just be like, oh, I'll just, swipe my credit card and the bill comes later and whatever. I'll think about it then. Some people, I have to say, like, have because they're lower income, sometimes have no choice but to put it on a credit card. So there's different scenarios actually, but it's not hard to do these days is to get yourself into debt
I
or
was yeah, I was thinking about the cash versus credit card. If you go back, I'm old enough now where I just remember a cash system. We didn't have
yep,
credit
yep,
card, we didn't have the plastic.
exactly.
And now it's more of a plastic. You're going through and you just swipe. You see people swiping. I still use cash. I'm probably old
That's
fashioned from
okay.
that standpoint, but I still use cash as well as a credit card. But where I can use cash, I do. I carry cash. But I see a lot of people who don't carry cash. They just constantly swiping the card. And I got thinking about that, and I said, when I was growing up, you could only spend what you had in your pocket.
Right,
However much change or green paper you had in your pocket, that's all you could spend. So that was it. You
right.
couldn't go in and buy something because you didn't have any more money. When the credit cards came through, now you just there's no limit because you can just keep
Like,
swiping it, keep swiping it,
keep
keep
swiping
swiping
it,
it.
and exactly, and that's where it becomes a problem. So I remember back in the day too, when I was growing up, like there was no debit cards. There wasn't even debit cards.
Right.
It wasn't like automatic transfer. You could transfer your savings or your back and forth. So times have changed, And now people, that's the thing. And hey, I'm human. I've been guilty of it too. Is just, oh, I'll just swipe, and that's where it becomes hard because people don't know when they're swiping all the, if they're doing it consistently to get the coffees, to get fast food, whatever it is at the mall, you lose track of what you're spending. So we really work hard with clients on that budgeting and money management and use certain tools like a spending tracker sheet to really track exactly what you're spending. It's a really great tool. It's really easy. And a lot of my clients use it. So once and for all, they know and they have a concrete picture of what they're spending. And then they come to me with a tracker sheet.
I went online this morning when I was kind of putting some of my notes together. I don't drink coffee. My wife is an avid coffee drinker, but she doesn't buy coffee out. She makes her own coffee and drinks at the house. But, I went onto the Dunkin' website and I said, what's a large regular coffee cost? And it's like $2.17 or something. So I said, okay, let's just take it at $2. And I just multiplied it out. If you're going, and people do get a coffee every day for $2, that's $730 a year that you're spending just on a single coffee.
That's right. And some people do it every day.
Right.
And that's where we come in as coaches, is we thoroughly go through that budget sheet with the client. And I say to my client, I want you to start taking the reins on your expenses. So you go through the budget sheet we just did, which is categorized like housing, food, transportation, you name it. And you tell me what you think. I want you to start looking at it and you get down in there and look at your expenses. And then we talk together. Are there any expenses you think that could be reduced? What do you think? So we don't just say, again, like, here's your budget sheet. No, we're going to go through, are there any expenses you think, without taking it away from them, that could be lowered? That money that you're freeing up from lowering that expense can be reallocated to something of a priority. Mm-hmm. People don't always think about budget like that in that kind of level. So if my dining out is $200 a month with a low income, and I reduce it, let's say, down to 50, because I'll make little mini goals, that's $150. That's a big chunk of money when you're on a tight income, right? That you can be reallocating to savings or putting more maybe on a credit card than just the minimum.
Yeah, dining out is very expensive. My wife and I do that because we're at that age where we can afford to, and it's just easier than cooking sometimes. But it's pricey, and it can really add up, especially if you don't have the disposable income at your availability. So let's talk about these. What is a credit report, and how do people find their credit report?
So your credit report, I call it your financial Bible. Everybody should know what's on their credit report. Why? Because you can't get more accurate than that. It tells you all your accounts that are in good standing, right? Loans, credit cards. It tells you accounts that are adverse accounts. Those are not in good standing. So, and not just current, but it goes back in time. So it will show you, let's say someone in 2019 had 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late. Now it's on its way to collections. So it shows you back in time as well. If you've had, so when adverse accounts, it doesn't mean that currently you just missed a payment. It shows you back in time when you had like blips, like a 30-day late, 60 days late. It shows you if there's anything in collections, meaning those credit cards the payments have been late for so long that they're like, I'm done with this. And now it's going to a collection agency. You want to make sure all your personal information is correct. So I have my clients look at their personal information and say, is your name right on this? Are your phone numbers correct? Addresses, it has your employment, and they can appeal that if it's not correct. But some people don't even know they have adverse account, they don't know they have stuff in collections. So what I use with my clients is annual credit report, all one word.com. The key thing to know about that is it used to be you could only pick one credit bureau. There's the 3 credit bureaus. You could only pick one credit bureau for free a year. Now, because of COVID, you can go on every week
Hmm.
and check any one of those three credit bureaus for free.
Give me that website again.
Yep. So it's annual credit report, all one word, .com. And it's free. And as I said, now people can go on it weekly as opposed to waiting once a year to get, to check a credit bureau for free.
Oh, that's
And I'll check,
interesting.
yeah, and I'll check my credit reports often with my clients. You got to give them time to catch up, if they just made payments and we check it today and they just made payments, it's not going to show that. It takes time to catch up.
But it's showing everything that you're spending, every bill, whether it's utilities or fuel.
So it doesn't show utilities or a phone bill or cable. It shows more credit cards.
Okay.
Credit cards. So I should clarify that. It shows credit cards,
Okay.
loans, right? It doesn't show, and it doesn't show rent either.
Okay.
It would show a mortgage payment because that's a loan, student loans, car loan.
Okay.
It will show any credit cards,
Hmm.
Line of credits. But it doesn't show like electric or anything like that.
Okay. Okay.
Unless it has gone into collections.
Okay.
It will say the name of the collection agency, the original company that was the problem. So let's say whoever had their cable originally, and then it will say how much is in collections, like how much is past due. Like I have a past due amount from 2019. And it will give the phone number of the collection agency so you can call them. And if you're able to, for some people they can't, but if you're able to, sometimes you can try and work out a payment plan or a settlement with the collection agencies.
That's really interesting. And so let's now talk about credit score. Where is that? How is that determined?
Credit scores are derived from your credit report. So your credit score just doesn't come out of thin air. Though there are three numbers, and those three numbers are really important. Those are the three numbers that basically say, am I worthy enough for a lender to let them borrow their money? Am I worthy enough? So if I go to the car dealership, am I worthy enough for them to, let me borrow their money? So the higher the score, the better. And there's factors behind your score that when people come to Thrive, that's why we don't just say, here's your three numbers and see you next time. We really talk about the factors behind your score. There's credit utilization, on-time payments, inquiries, credit mix. There's some factors that make up the pieces of the pie of like, let's say your FICO score. So we sit down and really go over, okay, I can see the factors behind somebody's score. And if I see that their credit utilization, that means how much I'm spending towards my total credit limit, is too high, and that makes up 30% of your score. It's a big, big chunk. It's huge. Now we need to lower that credit utilization. So the rule of thumb is you should never use more than 30%, if not less, of your total credit limit. So if my credit limit is only $300 on a credit card, just for make it easy, I shouldn't be spending more than like $90 a month. And when they see the credit utilization is too high, then they feel like, how responsible is this person? Should I let them borrow our money? I mean, are they going to pay us back?
Right.
So that's an example of a factor we go over. On-time payments is the biggest part. If you miss a payment, it will get reported to the credit bureaus at 30 days. But, even if it's not 30 days, you still might get a late fee, which is not, which is not, is a lot. So that credit score is huge. And a lot of people who come to me, their goal is to increase their score.
I love that strategy of never use more than 30% of your credit limit.
Yeah.
That's a great tool right there.
Yes. Yeah. It's never more than, because if your credit utilization is too high, so if I have 500 on a credit card and I go, put on $480, that's right at my credit limit. And it's going to ding your score because it makes up such a big part of that pie. That makes up 30%, and on-time payments is 35%.
And it doesn't matter how many credit cards you have. They're looking at the combined, your credit report is looking at everything you have under your name, under your social security number.
Yep.
So it could be 6 different credit cards. So don't feel that, well, I've kind of used enough on this one. I'll put some on that one. I'll put some on this one, and it won't be as bad. It still all adds up, correct?
Yes. So credit cards can be a good thing and can increase your score if you do it the right way. So I always tell my clients, know your credit limit and know what 30% of that is before you go out with it. And make sure it's on time. So if you use it the right way and you're educated about it, which is what we do at Thrive, you're good. It will increase your score. But if I'm going to go out and, put on $300 when I have a $300 credit limit and on a shopping spree, and I'm late with my payment, and it is going to get reported to the credit, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not good, and it will ding your score. Mm-hmm. So people are like, oh my God, credit cards, I don't know. It is overwhelming, credit cards. It's kind of like they're, its own little beast, but if you're educated about it and you use them the right way, you're okay. If you don't use them the right way, then it's not so good. It will ding your score.
That's really interesting. So how hard is it to create a spending plan and then stick to it?
Well, it's something that we work on in Thrive, is like through your budget sheet and working on your debt and looking at the whole financial picture. We do work on a plan. And for some people, it takes a little bit, because for some people, it's a lifestyle change. So reducing dining out, I keep saying dine out, but it could be entertainment. It could be personal care. It could be, as far as expenses go, it's not just dining out, but it could be, stop using the credit cards. You're already maxed out, So for some people, it's a lifestyle change because they've been doing this habit for so long of just swiping, giving out cash, using their credit cards, that for some people, it might take some time to adjust to, okay, I have a spending tracker sheet now. Now I'm here at Thrive. Okay, this is the time. I say, this is the time. You're at Thrive. Let's do this. And it takes people some time. That's okay. A lot of clients have some bumps. That's okay. That's all right. It's going to happen. And clients have said, Jen, you're going to kill me. Like, okay, let me just tell you what I did. And, as my job is, it's not to judge, I go with their pace and it'd be like, all right, so you went over the goal that we set for yourself for dining out, personal care, whatever. Back on track we go, and so that happens. You just got to work with them and get back on track and let them get into the swing of things, because if you've been doing that for so long, sometimes it just doesn't happen overnight.
I'm just sitting here thinking about that. What's your success rate? Are you able to measure a success rate? And are there people that you've not been successful with, or just can't seem to get their financial act in place?
There's some, and to be honest, there's some that don't, or things happen in their life that life challenges and obstacles, that they just have to deal with and put Thrive on hold. But we have a really big success rate though. I just had a client. So I've had clients that have gotten houses that they never thought they would.
Hmm.
Never thought they would ever get a house. I just had a client, well, maybe about a month ago now or a few weeks ago, got her condo. And she was just, they start with hardly anything in their savings, or, their score is really low. And these people think I'm never going to get there. And it may take a couple of years or how long it is, but then here they are. Or we just see credit scores that have increased.
Hmm.
Even if they're not getting a house or whatever, their credit score has increased, their savings has increased, because I do a concrete savings plan every time we meet. Every time. And so we've had a really good success rate with a lot of our clients. And it's just, I think that's part of what makes Thrive so great.
Hmm.
Is the work that we do with our clients. Because, like I said, to be able to see credit scores increase, to see them just understand their finances better, to see the concrete of reducing expenses that don't need to be so high, to work on, like we do reallocation plans. So like with the debt, we'll do like a snowball effect. So once one credit card is paid off, that money that they were paying, a month towards that credit card can now be reallocated to the next credit card,
Hmm.
which is in a quick nutshell.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, a lot of our clients are doing really, really well.
So how much has this high inflation period that we're currently in, how much has that impacted people? Does that make a difference in their, because they've probably got the same amount of income, but the price index has gone way up.
Exactly.
Does that complicate their issues and make your
Yeah,
job more challenging?
it does. It does, because a lot of clients come to me and they're like, God, I went to the grocery store and food is just really expensive right now. And the price of gas, if they do have a car
Right,
and they're
right.
going over to work and back and picking up their kids and this and that. And so everywhere they go, it's expensive. So it is really hard for some of them that are only on a limited income, yet now we have, prices going up in food with gas, essential things that you need. So we try and work on, well, the budgeting piece, right? Because you have to, probably be careful of your budget, especially if things are higher. But we also have resources, like we have two pantries um, that are through the United Way. And so that can help, like with groceries.
Hmm.
So I mean, people that are looking to, we're really big on food insecurity. So people that are looking to get food, we have two pantries through the United Way that are fairly new. You know, people, there's resources. What about, fuel assistance for
Hmm.
some people? So that's why we always try and to, help with resources in the community. Um, there's lots of resources to help them, deal with some of these higher, the inflation at this time.
I'm guessing that this would be a service, for seniors. Many seniors are on a fixed income, and certainly with inflation, that really hits them hard because they're
Yes.
they're not generating any more money. So when I think about our senior population here in Westfield through the Westfield Senior Center, this would be a great service that people should really look to take advantage of. Now, you mentioned that you're here in Westfield 2 Fridays a month. Did I
Two
get that right?
Fridays. Yeah, the first and the third Friday. I'm in Westfield.
And that's at the
Um,
Athenaeum?
yes, it's at the Westfield Library. 8:30 to 4:30 are always my hours. Um, Tuesdays, like today, I'm in Holyoke on 206 Maple Street. And I don't know, Harry, if I sent you flyers, but I can send you flyers, to send out about the Thrive program, and I can, send flyers out on the pantries. Um,
Well, I'm guessing, would Tina have those at the senior center?
she probably does.
Yeah,
I think she
okay.
does.
So that's
He
where I
does.
would direct our viewers to go to get more information. Then is to go to the senior center and then pick up a flyer on it.
Yep, yep. I think she might have the pantries. I can send those, to Tina just in case. But
Right.
I think I gave her the pantries. But um, just also people should know that United Way also offers 211, which is a great resource. Um, Anybody that's looking to find help with resources in their area, it could be mental health, it could be housing, shelters, pantries, whatever it may be. If you just dial 211, they can help, you know, direct that person into getting some resources. So everybody should know 211. And we also have call to talk. So call the number 2 talk. So if anybody is feeling, that's 24/7. If anyone's feeling sad, lonely, depressed, suicidal, even need someone to talk to, they I don't have the number in front of me, but they can call to talk is a great resource as well.
And that's through United Way.
Yes, these are all through
Okay.
the United Way.
So if they need more information, they can definitely go on the United Way website and they can find information about all of these programs.
Oh yes,
That's
absolutely.
interesting. Call to talk.
Call to talk. Yes.
So for the Athenaeum, first and third Fridays, what was it, 8:30 to 4:30?
Yep. Yep. 8:30 to 4:30.
And then people, do they have to call ahead to make an appointment? Do they just show up? What do they have to do to connect with
Yep.
you
So
there?
all they have to do is call me. I can say it now, out loud.
Yep.
So if people want to call me, the best number to get me is 413-333-8365. That's my work cell phone number. You can also email me at jfernandez, FERNANDES, at UWPV, United Way Pioneer Valley, UWPV.org.
Okay.
If people are Spanish speaking, they should definitely call Emmanuel, who is our other coach. Which again, he's doing more at the service center. But if they're Spanish speaking, absolutely call him because I can't speak Spanish.
It's okay. But that's good to know that you do have the resources by which to enable Spanish people,
Oh yeah,
Spanish
yes,
speaking
yes.
people
We
to
have
be able to call and get help.
exactly. Yep. We Manny is total Spanish speaking. So it's great that we have him.
That is awesome. Jen, is there anything else? We've covered a lot here, and this was a really interesting interview. I learned a lot, even past the one that we did a year ago. Is there anything else that you can think of that we need to share, or do you think we've kind of covered it all?
I mean, I think Thrive is just, as I said, a great program. To find something like this, for free out in the community is hard to find. Again, we really work with our clients so that they can better themselves financially.
Mm-hmm.
And we really take the time to educate our clients to, make sure they're understanding, what their finances are all about, help them understand their financial world. Like I said, we break things down into baby steps, and we give them tools that they can use. It's just an amazing program, and so if anybody's interested, absolutely, give me a call to set up an appointment. The first appointment is an intake. It can take a little bit longer, but again, we work with clients' time. So, and then we get rolling and we start working on the goals that we set.
Really
So,
interesting. That's great. Well, Jen, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You have been a fascinating person to interview. You're doing
thank
some
you.
great work out there. Keep
Yes.
that up.
Yes. Thank you.
Certainly these are challenging financial times for everybody, and I think that to your point, it is easy to get into financial difficulty, and it helps
Yes.
to have someone just sit down with you. And sometimes you just don't realize what you're spending your money on, and all these little things that you don't really think, what's a big deal? I get a coffee or I
Right.
go out for McDonald's every day for lunch or whatever it might be. But all that does add up, and sometimes it helps just to have someone there to point out what you're doing and then how to kind of control that spending and kind of get things under control. And I think certainly what you were talking about with credit reports and credit scores was very interesting relative to never spend more than 30% of your credit limit.
Yeah, no, it's huge.
Right.
It's a huge thing. It really is. It plays a huge part in your score.
Right. Yeah, no question. So I do again want to thank you for coming on, and I would urge our viewers from Westfield to take advantage of this program. There are probably brochures at the Westfield Senior Center. I would stop in and ask them, and if there aren't, they can certainly request those from the United Way and get those to you.
Absolutely.
I would also encourage people to go onto the United Way website where you can find Thrive. I did that earlier this morning while I was prepping for this show. It was very easy. You can find it right away, but United Way of Pioneer Valley, and once you get in there, just go to the search bar and look for Thrive, and you'll find it. And again, to get in touch with Jen Fernandez, you can call her work cell at 413-333-8365 or email her at jfernandez@theuwpv.org. I think I've got that right.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yep. But I certainly encourage people to reach out, because if you feel that you're uncomfortable with where you are with your finances, if you find that you're getting very, very tight, if you're finding that you're having to delay making payments on a credit card or anything of that nature, it's good to reach out. It's confidential. It's not anything that's going to be shared with anybody, and certainly something that will help you get, I think, a little bit more comfort in your own life to know that you're able to pay your bills and make your own way without getting into any kind of difficulty. So, Jen, once again, Senior Financial Coach Thrive program from the United Way of Pioneer Valley. Thank you so much for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Harry.
And I want to just give a quick shout out and thanks to Pete Coles, our WCPC Westfield Cable Channel 15 manager producer, for his help and support to make this show possible, and to Tina Gorman as the executive director of the Westfield Senior Center for her initiative to make this program available to all of our seniors and to our residents within the greater Westfield area. This has been another edition of the Westfield Council on Aging Presents on WCPC Westfield Cable Channel 15. I'm Harry Rock. Have a great day, everybody.